This Nike shoe glows in the dark and is insanely bright. But not only is it bright in the dark, it's also extremely bright in the light. In fact, it's actually one of the brightest shoes that Nike's ever made and is unlike anything else I've ever seen. And to prove this, I'll be comparing this pair to several other shoes to show you exactly what I mean. But first, we have to understand how this shoe works when you turn off the lights. It might sound a bit deceiving, but most people wouldn't even know they glow in the dark because when you first take them out of the box, they definitely hit you as a bright shoe, but the outsoles don't really glow. So to fix this, Nike almost hid it as a secret feature, but you actually have to charge them up in the light so that they can work in the dark. So to do this, I grabbed both shoes, headed outside, and left them in the sunlight for just a minute. But depending on how bright the sun is and how bright you want your shoes to be, you could leave them outside for as quick as like 30 seconds or even as long as up to 10 or 15 minutes. But when you bring them back in and turn off the lights, you immediately see what I'm talking about. And the way that these glow in the dark instantly catches your attention and is somehow even more of a focal point than the bright colors that are already on the shoe. But just how bright are these shoes compared to other glow-in-the-dark shoes? Surely Nike's made other ones, right? Well, in fact, I have two other pairs here to show exactly that. And first up is the recently released Spider-Man Jordan 1 that works in the same way. They look pretty normal on their own, and unless you know that they glow in the dark, you have no idea that they do until you test them out. So I brought those outside to charge up again, and when you bring them back in, you can see that they're really bright too, but in a much different way. And the Spider-Mans are actually a bit of an outlier here because most of Nike's glow-in-the-dark shoes are actually a green color like these Dunks, and not this white color like the Spider-Mans. To show you what I mean, I have my LeBron 9s from the Galaxy pack here that also have a glow-in-the-dark outsole and work in the same unsuspecting way. But as you can see, they're much closer to the green color of the Dunks. And the big thing to keep in mind is that these Dunks are still much brighter. But checking these out in the dark is only half the battle because these are also one of the brightest shoes in the light as well. And to prove that, I wanted to compare these to one of the most common Nike Dunks in what's called the Panda colorway. That illustrates this really well. The Pandas are a simple black and white colorway that isn't as easily noticed as the bright colors on this shoe, and not only is the pair physically brighter with the greens and orange on the back, but it actually has much different materials that aren't commonly used on Nike Dunks either. Like when you look up close at the toe box or the mid panel or back heel, you can even see something that also isn't visible in the dark. The shoe has almost a glossy feel that is actually something quite rare to see on a pair of Dunks that makes the light bounce off them in an even more intense way. Like with the Pandas, they just feel like a normal black and white leather that doesn't stick out too much. So by combining all of these elements of being extremely bright in both the light and the dark, especially when comparing to other similar models, you get what Nike calls the Volt Nike Dunk Glow. That is truly unlike any other pair and very, very bright. And if you want to grab a pair of these for yourself, I'll have them linked in the description down below.